You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Ladies and gents, this is Kevin Kierstead, host of Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap. I hope you're enjoying the show. Truth on Tap is focused on bringing you absolute truth about everything from mainstream media to comedy, from psychology to the paranormal. This show keeps it real, not the fake kind of real, the real kind of real. That same spirit also covers our Caps on Tap show about the Washington Capitals. Caps on Tap shows air only after Capitals wins at this time. Please come like our Facebook page and join the conversation at facebook.com/truthontapshow. Truth on Tap has been picked up and promoted by iHeartRadio, the internet audio mega monster, so shows are available there as well as on Spreaker and a limited selection on iTunes. To get in on a show's chat, you can chat from the Facebook page I mentioned or go to www.spreaker.com/user/truthontap and look for the live episode or call in at 910-NOLYING. That's 910-665-9464. Thanks again for checking out Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Opening up the truth pipeline for these bitches.
Truth on Tap. Truth.
My right to say how I say it's mine to give my hands, my heart, it's mine to share my sons, my heart.
Truth on Tap.
Invite to use just the way you chop it up and recombine. Chop it up and
Truth on Tap.
Genghis featuring Stereo Black Star Super Negro. You know the goddamn drill, people. Okay? 8/31/2014, 5:02 p.m., which stands for Pappy Mappy. Yeah. Well, if I wanted to do, and we don't plan here, this is right off the top of my head, if I wanted to do Dora the Explorer, what would I say? If there's a place you gotta go, I'm the one you need to know. I'm the map. Sing it with me. I'm the map. I'm the map. If there's the place you want to get, I can get you there. I bet. I'm the map. Yes, I'm doing it from memory. I'm the map. I'm the map. Yeah. A swiper, no swiping. Okay. And I can say that also to Mr. Brown. No swiping those cigars. However, Mr. Brown, you shouldn't be dead right now unless you put that police officer in reasonable, imminent fear for his life. Then you should be dead. Or at least shot up. But did he? We don't know. Here's the problem. We don't know. We've heard some witness accounts. We've got several uncorroborated stories between people that seem to suggest that this officer shot this man in the back while he was running away. Yet we've got the police officer, honorable service, outside of what he did this day, says the guy was attacking him. Who do you believe? Who do you believe? You don't believe anybody right now. That's what I'm going to tell you. That's what any famous great philosopher, which we'll talk a little bit about in this show, would tell you. Don't believe anybody until the facts get done. You need a solid and thorough investigation done by professionals that know how to do what you don't know how to do. And that is turn up facts about this case. Everybody wants to jump to conclusions. You've heard me say it on past shows. It's the worst weakness we probably have as humans. I haven't really evaluated our weaknesses to weigh one over the other, but it's got to be in the top 5. Jumping to conclusions. Don't. Just say, I don't know yet. Let's wait for the facts. If it turns out that this network is right and the black guy was innocent, well, I'm enraged if I'm not racist. But if it turns out that the black guy charged the officer, I have to side with the officer. I have to ask myself, what would I have done in both cases? What's fair? What would Jesus do? Because if you ask yourself, what would Jesus do, you'll always come up with the holiest answer. The holiest of holy, the mightiest of mighty. He's all-powerful, all-knowing, omnipotent, and he always makes the right decision. God don't make mistakes. If you'll call me right now and give me your next 3 paychecks, I'll get you closer to God. Yes, and I'll tell you the answers to the Ferguson case, because God told me in a dream. You fucking idiots. Don't believe anything you're told, people. Nothing. Believe Genghis. Super Negro. Stereo Black Star. Yeah. 3 minutes into the show, and I've already crossed the line on taste. I'm going to have to do that this show. Yeah, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a challenge that a friend of mine on Facebook put out there that I have to do. It's sticking to positive thoughts and positive speech for the week. Yeah. Sounds easy? I'll bet it's not easy for you. It is easy for me. I think positively. I don't go after people very often, you know. I have to in this case. Sure do. I'll tell you why.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
That's Wes Johnson there that you just heard. You can find him at wesjohnson.com. Great voiceover actor. A great actor in general. Now, the topic of the show, and you guys know me, I tend to stick to my topics at least for the first half of the show. Once in a while I'll drift off, but you have to allow for that. That's my style. You know, once you learn my style, most people are okay with it. If you were judging me by major media credentials, you'd probably cast me away, because I'm not afraid to step out of the topics. And your major media outlets will, oh God, stay on topic. Oh no, we'll have to counsel you. We'll get our upper echelon of reporter trainers to come in and show you how the script has to be run, because we wish to present this ideology over that. Shut the fuck up. I'm just talking, bitches. I got no boss on here. I'm the boss on this bitch. Sometimes my cat's the boss, saying, you're not going to type right now because I'm taking over the keyboard. You're going to pet me if you want to continue doing this show. And I do. I listen to that boss. But that's it. That's the only one I have, and that's only occasionally. That's right. You got a problem with that? Tell me about it. You can join in on the chat by going to Spreaker.com/user/truthontap. Or you can do it right through Facebook. For you guys that like to stay on Facebook and never leave it, I don't blame you. It's a fun place to be. Go to Facebook.com/truthontapshow. Don't forget the show. Facebook.com/truthontapshow. TOTS is an easy way to remember that. And on there, you'll find a listen tab. In that listen tab, you can play the show, look for the one that says live, and you can get right in on the chat by clicking the three horizontal lines near the lower right part of your rectangle. Rectangle, not a word you say often, is it? Think about it. How often do you say the word rectangle? It's a fun word to say. It's got a k sound, you know? That's fun. And angle has an ng sound at the end. It's got a switch and gears, if you will. I'm a part-time linguist, but not very cunning. Oh, let's see. Anonymity, racism, revealing wimps. Yeah, I'm going to have to do it, guys. I'm sorry that I have to reveal wimps. It is not... Hi, Valerie. Valerie made it to the chat room. Thank you for coming, Valerie. Please invite people. Let me tell you guys something while we're talking about radio show hosts. Valerie has her own show, by the way, and I'll share that show right now on the Facebook page announcement for this show that you're listening to. And that way, Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. If your name is Valerie. Now it's working. That means I'm going to have to fix this episode. Hey, Valerie, can you tell me, was it working? Was it working with me talking and then nothing? Or did it just not work after the intro at all? Tell me that. Thank you, Yeti Mike, for pointing out the audio issue. I'll have to download and delete this space gap here. But it's good that we didn't get far into the show. Thank you for telling me there was no problem. And what you missed was this. I basically said that I started a Facebook page called The Ballsiest from Spreaker and iHeartRadio. And I did that because I do have a certain respect for people with courage. And, here's the description. Hosts from Spreaker and iHeartRadio who are not afraid of other hosts and will exhibit courage routinely. Now, you don't just have to exhibit courage to other hosts as they attack. You have to exhibit courage as a broadcaster. And if you do that, well, then you're more than qualified to be in my group. Yeah. And I want you to know that. I want you to feel that. I want people in here to, first of all, know that because I'm a member of this group, somebody thinks I got some balls. And not just anybody can get into this group. Because I made the group, and I want to hear from people I respect. And I don't really respect people that don't have a lot of courage. You can be brilliant and not have courage. I'll give you that. You can be a social expert and not have any courage. I'll give you that. But you can't be in this group and not have courage. I can find you elsewhere. I'm not going to find you in this group. I need this group to be all about the courage. Yeah. So let's see. Refresh the page, guys, and you'll hear it. Yeah, if you refresh the page, you'll hear the show. And I'll kill that. I'll download it later and kill that gap and then re-upload the show. Because I'm hearing it now. If I push play on the show's page, yeah, I'm hearing it. So it's working. We're going to get on with the show. Anonymity, that's how you say that. Not animal titty, as some of you like to say. Racism revealing wimps. See, I'm taking it a step further than putting the spotlight on courage. I want to paint by contrast. If you listen to this show routinely, that one of my favorite things to do to describe things to people, in my view, remember, 95% of what I'm sharing on this show is just my opinion. 5% of it I'm sharing are facts from various websites and sometimes from magazines or newspapers. So I'm not asking you to believe what I believe. What I'm doing is presenting a view, one of many millions, and giving my support for it, usually. Because I think I have a pretty sharp and solid way of thinking. I think that modeling my thinking after the great philosophers has paid off. I think that reading many, many boring books to discover the many ways that human beings think and focusing on human behavior and how the human mind works, I have made some breakthroughs in understanding the broken manimal and how his brain works. That's what I think. So I think it's worth sharing with you. If you're confused on what kind of living and personal philosophies should be guiding you through the murky trials of this everyday life, I've got some ideas for you. You might like them. You might despise. Alex Jones fans hate me. I'll be getting death threats anytime because I steal people from his show all the time. I try to guide them back into reason and logic from the fear that he sells them. About 10% of major conspiracy theories deserve a second look. The other 90% bullshit. They're playing on your fears of the unknown, selling you the cure to the disease they just gave you when they got you scared. That's all. Tell them to prove it. Tell them to prove there are reptiles in the government. Why can't they prove it? They got a guy. A guy is a reputable source to you. He says he worked in the government. He claims he was working next to a reptoid. Whatever the fuck that is. And that's good enough for you. There must be reptiles in Obama's administration because a guy said so. In court, if you want to put somebody in prison or worse, you have to convince a jury or a judge beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you know what a reasonable doubt is? Has anybody thought about what it means to say a reasonable doubt? A reasonable doubt. If you're telling me a guy killed somebody and you've shown a lot of evidence, but he's got a reputable witness that has him at another place for the entire day of the crime committed, I have reasonable doubt. Even if you have DNA evidence that he was there, I still have a reasonable doubt. After all, I know police aren't afraid to plant shit when they're going for their man. If 7 things out of 10 line up, they're going for that man. They will ignore the 3 anomalies. I have reasonable doubt if his witness for his alibi is credible. That's reasonable doubt. What's unreasonable doubt? Unreasonable doubt is to feel the same way if that witness has testified in 14 different court cases and in 10 of them been found guilty of perjury. Now you don't have reasonable doubt. Now the DNA evidence takes on even more weight because the witness claiming he wasn't there that day because he was with him has no value in his testimony. So you've surpassed reasonable doubt. That's reasonable doubt. Look it up. There's going to be a bunch of definitions for it, depending on which lawyer or jurist you talk to, okay? But really, you know what it is. Do you have a reasonable doubt that there are bad cops? Do you? There have been plenty of shown and proven cases with court transcripts available showing cops taking payments for letting somebody get away with a crime, showing cops pulling people over just to get their phone numbers if they're a pretty girl or just to harass them if they're an ugly minority. And they've proven this with hidden camera work and private investigators, and you're going to tell me there's a reasonable doubt that some cops are dirty? I'm going to tell you there is no reasonable doubt. It's proven. It is proven with multiple case studies, both court cases and psychiatry study cases. If you know this broken manimal, you already know what's reasonable. You'll make a good juror. You listen to my program for about 100 episodes, you will make a good juror, especially if you listen to the 9 shows I did against Alex Jones, which taught nothing but logic, reason, and critical thinking. You'd think I hate the guy. I don't really. I don't like what he's doing to the masses, but the people I'm upset with are really the masses that follow him. I mean, they're coming up to him, listening to his program, accepting his word as fact, and then jumping on his bandwagon. He has zero evidence for the shit he claims. He'll say shit like, according to my sources. Name one case in court where an attorney can stand up and say, according to my sources, that man's guilty of murder. So the judge and jury, or both or either, will say, I'm sorry, I need to see your sources, please. So you can admit that as a item of evidence if you wish. Do we need a sidebar here? No, Judge. I'm not showing you my sources. They're confidential because I got to protect them, see. But my sources, which are very reputable sources, say this man's guilty of murder. So what's the judge going to do then? What's the jury going to do? Oh, well, why didn't you tell me? Well, if you've got reputable sources, you certainly wouldn't lie in a courtroom. You're a lawyer. I mean, you represent the most honest people in the world, right? Okay, so as long as your source needs to be protected, I understand why you won't divulge his information to us so that we can cross-examine him on the other side, whether it's defense or prosecution. I understand. So yes, this man must be guilty. He's proven beyond a reasonable doubt because he's got sources. Now, doesn't that sound straight up fucktarded to you? Don't be a fucktard, America. Other countries are passing us by because we're fucking retarded. We are going into the voluntary suspension of disbelief as a matter of routine because we have been programmed by Hollywood and by the media. Programmed. You're nothing but a computer that's been programmed. When you start thinking for yourself, you're going to be terrified the first couple times out. You will be terrified. But I'm telling you that once you've done it, you'll never go back. You'll never go back because you'll realize you were nothing but a machine that people were inserting code into. You were ignoring the shit that didn't fit your worldview and sucking in the ammunition for fights for those things that supported your beliefs that you might need in some type of debate. All I'm asking is that you think for yourself. Measure in value on a 10 scale your sources. Were they a 7 out of 10 for reputability? Were they a 9 out of 10 because they're almost always proven to be reliable? Were they a 4 out of 10 because they were Fox News or The Guardian? You've got to know your sources and their credibility based on their past credibility. All we have is histories to go on. You can't guess a paper's credibility. You have to look at the research. Find out who's been lying more. Find out who's been misleading more. Look at PunditFact and PolitiFact and factcheck.org. Look at other newspapers. Cross-examine your other sources. See how they fit with the way most agencies are reporting it. Look at BBC, Reuters, CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox, MSNBC. Look at my friend Andy wants to look at Russian Times. He wants to look at Al Jazeera. Look at all of them. The more time you got, the better. Because if you decide to follow one talking head, including me, and do nothing but ditto what we say, you're going to be weak. That's weak. I don't care how brilliant the host is. It's weak. Make your own decisions based on the evidence you find. Don't be afraid to disagree with people like me if you've got evidence that I'm wrong about something. Now, that is an introduction to what I'm feeling today. But it's not really an introduction to the topic of the show. There's Apocalypse, Mandy Pinetown in the chat room. Sweet chili peppers, broccoli, those small little dried pepper things you put on pizza, and just romaine. What? That is a strange salad. Yeah, you're going to need to refresh the page. Valerie, you can't hear that. Valeria. Sounds like that sounds like a venereal disease. I'm very sorry about that, Valerie. Hi, doctor. I think I have a case of Valeria. You have a cream for this? No, just give me a shot. The topic of the show, though, I got off there on sources and credibility and critical thinking. That's not what we're doing, so I don't want to get too far off. Although I did, as I said at the beginning of the show, I give myself an allowance for going off topic. Thank you. Welcome back, Valerie. Anonymity, racism, revealing wimps. So before, I was kind of shining the spotlight on the courageous, just giving them credit. You know, hey, look at these guys, they're brave. But now I'm going to shine the spotlight on the other guys. Yeah, what about the wimps? And that plays right into... the way I worded this title is unfortunate, because racism is kind of separate from anonymity and revealing wimps, but anonymity is related to revealing wimps, because the wimps I'm talking about are the trolls, basically, on the internet. People who through anonymity find new courage. That's unreasonable. I say the courageous man will say right to your face anything he would say online. Now let's be honest. Is that how you are? Anything you say in a comment to a Facebook post, to a message board post, to anything, would you say it to the person's face? Because that, to me, is a direct measure of your courage. That is a direct measure of your courage. And my answer, as Barco says, is yes. Yes, I would. You feel free. Look over my YouTube comments, look over my Facebook comments, and say, Kevin, you know what? I don't think you'd say this in person to that person. I'd say, give me their address. I'm taking a trip. I'm going to go to their door, knock on their door. When they answer, I'm going to tell them I'm the guy that said this comment, blankety, 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 blank, and that was me and I meant it. Did you have any response you wanted to give me in my, presence that would be different than you would give me online? Chances are they would not give me in my presence, even on their own property, the same response they gave me online. Where's your courage? Where's your courage? Are you an internet troll? If you're an internet troll in a free world, in a free country, I like that about you. I like that you're out there exercising your freedom, whereas, say, if you were in 1944 Germany, you would have been arrested for saying some of the things you say now. I like that you're demonstrating your freedom. I like that part. Now, what I don't like is when you've actually gotten under somebody's skin, you've created a small wound, so you invade, and you try to turn it into a big wound. You really get to picking with them. And these are things the internet troll, by default, will not say these things to a person's face. If they will say these things to a person's face, you have to take them out of the internet troll category and put them in the bully category. They're just a bully, online and offline. But most of these people, you know it and I do not have the balls to say what they say online in person. Oh, they'll say they do. You see the comments. I'll bet you wouldn't say that to my face. Yes, I would. Okay, but what happens when that person says, all right, give me your address. Let's go meet at this neutral location. Is there a McDonald's near you? Give me the address of that. I had a guy say I was scared one time. It was my ex-girlfriend's... See, people confuse me being nice for being scared. That is a huge mistake. And he found out. She told me that he said that I didn't go with her to drop the kids off because I was scared of him. I said, I need your phone. I took her phone. I didn't have my phone on me. I took her phone. I said, where's his number? She said, open up contacts. It's at the top. I opened it up, called him. I said, I understand that you think I'm scared at you, so I'm going to be down at the McDonald's that we always drop the kids off. I said, I'm going to be down at the McDonald's in 5 minutes, and we'll talk about my fears. I went down there. I waited for him for 45 minutes. He didn't show. Now, you be the judge. Who was scared of who? I was ready to show I wasn't scared of no fucking buddy. And I'll do it today. Think I'm scared of somebody. You've lost your goddamn mind. You know nothing about me if you think I'm scared of somebody. The only people I'm scared of are Mexican midgets, because I had one chase me out of a store one time, and I thought he was going to bite me in the balls. You can't get used to that, because most short people are kids and they're very nice, but not this one. I said, where's the Red Bull? He got mad. He said, you got to go look for the Red Bull. You don't know what a Red Bull is. It was like Pac-Man with great white teeth. I didn't know what to do. My balls felt exposed. And, you can't run while covering your midsection, I found. And that gave me a reasonable fear of Mexican midgets. And since then, I've picked on tattoo a little. You guys know. I've used a little bit of transference to pick on short Mexicans. I shouldn't do that. I like Mexicans. I think they're the hardest working people in our country when, of those of Hispanic descent. But, Mexican midgets that chase me out of a store because I asked where the Red Bull is, fuck them. Fuck them. Next time, I think I'll kick him in the shin if I can get that low. Lisa, what's up? I saw a real life midget yesterday. Midgets are evil, says Barco. I think midgets may be evil. Barco says, meet me in the ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese, Kevin. I think you want to rape me, Barco, so no, but I will meet you out front of the Chuck E. Cheese. Absolutely. We've got one right out here in Newport News, Virginia. I'll drive to Virginia Beach right now. Okay, I'll give you an address to go to. Sure will. I have no idea how tall I am. Apparently was hanging with these former college b-ball players, yayo dealers, last night. Yayo is cocaine, right? Is that a slang word for cocaine? They were apparently 6'3" or so. Didn't seem any taller. Yeah, I think Barco probably wants to rape me in the ball pit, and I'm not going to go for that because I'm very hetero in my beliefs. But the truth is, I'm 6'5", 250, but I'm not real concerned about my size, and I'm not concerned about my martial arts training. I've always been able to defend myself when I needed to, and frankly, if I were 5'5" and 150, it's about your spirit. It's about what you're willing to do. It's about your boldness. I don't let bullies push me around. Not at all. Don't let bullies push you around, and I encourage you folks, if you're willing to say something online, starting today, maybe you've been a troll in the past, starting today, make sure that every comment you leave on the internet is one you'd be willing to leave in person if that person had spoken what they just wrote. That's how you will reconcile your courage with your reality and not take on this Superman persona because you have hidden behind the blind curtain of anonymity on the internet. Okay? So what I'm saying is be real. People will respect you for it. They really will. If someone gets nasty in comments, just say, I'm going to reserve what I would normally say, but I'd much rather have this discussion face-to-face if you're up for it. That's going to show your courage right there. You don't have to say anything else. You haven't offended them. You've just said, let's have the discussion in person. And they're going to stop. They won't do it. Let's talk a little bit about internet trolls. Now, I know some of you guys do it for the fun factor, and I already said I respect you if you're doing it to show your freedom. That's okay. But once you start fucking with people, and we're going to talk about the psychology of online comments from the New Yorker, beautiful article. We're going to talk a little bit about the 13 types of troll you'll meet on the internet, and I'm going to share, this is a funny but true thing from BuzzFeed videos. I'm going to share this article in the Facebook announcement for this show right now. I'll share it in the comments section so you can follow along if you like. The Facebook page, facebook.com/truthontapshow. Bookmark it. Don't forget it. the people are showing up and they love it, man. So this will be the first link I'm sharing. And it's 13 types of internet trolls. And I think we need to talk about them very quickly. They're very quick. This isn't a long article. And then later, as I said, we'll do the New Yorker psychology of online comments. I also have a few things like a study called Are Close Friends the Enemy? Online Social Network, Self-Esteem and Self-Control. Here's something crazy. I've got something up about racism that focuses on Australians. Yeah, racism in Australia, because you need to know what's going on around the globe with regard to racism to compare it to our own racism. I also have up a group of quotes, a huge group of quotes from Goodreads about racism. We'll talk a little bit about those. And let's go ahead and get into the 13 types of troll you'll meet on the internet. Number 1, the grammar Nazi. I don't even need to explain that. You know who they are. I've been guilty of it myself. I like to see people who have a command of their language. I respect that. Number 2, the shouter. Traits. They're so angry. They're angered by happy people, sad people, other angry people, cats, badgers, themselves, politicians, and humus. How to combat them? Steal their caps lock key. Yeah. That's the shouter. The hater, number 3. Traits. They don't need a motive. They just move from victim to victim, saying not very nice things and making you feel like you've done something to deserve it, which is nice. How to combat them. Say the words, haters gonna hate 3 times in the mirror every morning. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. There are people out there, I can't stand fucking nasty, negative people that just hate all the time. Oh, fucking get a life, man. If you hate life that much, off yourself. Seriously, get a high-powered pistol and blow your brains out. And I mean that. There's no solution for you. You're not going to find happiness. What are you going to do, find Jesus? What would Jesus do? He'd go bitch about the goddamn left wing and the right wing. Shut the fuck up. If you can't find happiness, go off yourself. The show is called Truth on Tap. I'm not sugarcoating this shit. Yeah, let's get it fixed, man. Find happiness. 4, the twister. Traits. They take everything you say out of context and use it to make you sound like a douche. The tabloid journalist of the trolling world. How to combat them? Don't say anything, ever. True. You say anything, that somebody's coming after you. I mean, you wouldn't believe the people that came after me after I tried to moderate that debate just because I wouldn't put up with bully tactics. Fuck them. Think I'm worried about them? Shit, no, man. I don't even talk about them anymore. Except brief mentions like I just did. Number 5, the preacher. And the quote they're using here is, these bitches really need Jesus. Traits. Whatever the topic, they'll find some way of turning it into a great theological debate. And all you wanted to do was Instagram a picture of your dinner. How to combat them? Avoid touchy subjects and learn to use the block button. Good point. You can block people. I always recommend, if you know someone who's negative, I'm not talking about a friend who's going through a bad time. I'm not talking about a friend who's decided to raise his head politically and attack a political party. I'm talking about a friend who lives, breathes, eats, and sleeps negativity every day, who lives to complain about other people, places, and things. If you have a friend like that, if you have a spouse like that, if you have a family member like that, you need to get them out of your social circles if you ever want a chance at happiness. Ever. I guarantee you won't find happiness till you get them out of your daily circles. Get them out. I don't care who it is, your parents, your co-workers, get them out. You're going, Kevin, what can I do? Fire? No, you go to your boss and say, this person's bringing me down, depressing me. It's ridiculous. I'm taking the discouragement home with me now because of how negative this person is. We need to be set apart. That's what you do. Get it on record. Get them out, people. Trust me, get them out. You can give them a month's notice. You can write a letter to everybody. Send out a huge email to 500 contacts and say, listen, everybody, starting on October 1st, I am going to try to make my life a more positive experience. So what I'm going to do is stop hanging out and stop socializing so much with those that are negative all the time, and I'm going to just look for neutral or positive parties to hang out with. There, you've given them a warning, a chance to change their behavior. They don't change it, fucking get them out of your circles. Kick them out. I'm dead serious. You'll never have happiness if you don't do that. I promise you. The only person that could find happiness and still live like that is a psychopath who does not feel empathy. Because to them, negativity is not contagious. They can't relate to other people, so they don't feel what you're spreading. So you can be bitching all the time. They'll just be like, okay, who do I kill next? Let's see what you fuckers are talking about in chat. We're halfway through the list. You didn't give me a chance. You just defriended me, Kevin. Well, Barco, you kept asking to see my dick. I've got kids that look at my status, man. If I'll make you a friend again if you promise not to ask for pictures of my dick or anything on that particular level. I'm not judging against you. I just had to protect, there are certain young people that look at my posts, so I can't have that. I should have told you that. It would have been the right thing to do was be to tell you, hey, don't put anything too nasty on my statuses on Facebook. I think grammar Nazis are respectable, Apocalypse. I like it when I'm corrected. Correct my shit, please. I'm begging you. I correct my girlfriend stuff. I correct my stepdaughter-to-be stuff. When they say something, like when they say something like, let me think. What's a good example of something they say routinely? Something like, she had already eat. All right, you know what's wrong with that, right? So I would, in a friendly way, say eaten. If you use had, you have to say she had already eaten or she already ate, but not she had already eat. So it's eaten. And I would want somebody to correct me because I don't want to go out in public and say shit wrong. Correct me. Correct the shit out of me, please. One time on Facebook, I used the word pontificate. I thought for some reason, I got it confused with the word ponder. So it didn't sound right, and I had two friends jump all over me for that. I was like, thank you very much. Pontificate does not mean to ponder. It means basically to preach in a ceremonious way. Okay, I'm looking at what you guys are saying in chat, so give me a second. Yeah, you can do the dick request in private messages. I don't mind. Don't do it every day, though, Barco, because that'll just annoy me. But if you ask me once a week for a pic of my dick, you might wear me down, and then maybe I'll probably find somebody else's dick and send a picture of that to you and just say it's mine. And then that way you'd be satisfied and I wouldn't have to hear it anymore. There's nothing wrong with Barco. I just, I had to protect my Facebook account, that's all. All right, so we have a deal. Barco, please request a friend again from me, and I'm gonna test you now. No dick mentions. For you guys, I know Lisa's going, what the hell are y'all talking about? Barco every day would ask on one of my Facebook statuses, give us a pic of that dick. Give us a shot of that schlong. No, my girlfriend doesn't even see my dick that much. I'm not showing strangers. Plus, it's very average looking. I mean, the penis, as I've stated, is a retarded looking organ. It just sits there. It doesn't even look cool like a rocket or missile until it's hard. I mean, flaccid. Bleh. It looks very sad. Have you ever seen how it just sticks to the balls? Now, I have a special kind of underwear myself that separates both the balls from the thighs and the penis from the balls. That lets them all breathe correctly because, I'm not trying to get cheese dick. But it looks sad. Just kind of stuck against the balls. And the balls are like, bleh, I'm just stuck against the thighs. You want to do anything, ball dick? No, I don't want to do ball. I don't want to do some of that. I don't even like dick. Is that balls talking? Well, you think it's dick talking? Why would I say I don't like myself? I actually like vagina. Well, you both look depressed. Maybe I should give you some medicine. Oh, you mean like Viagra? Well, you don't need Viagra. You work fine normally. I don't like him. I don't like balls. Balls are always in my face. There's an asshole right around the corner. I don't like this whole neighborhood. Do me a favor, boss. Go get a surgery. Put your balls and dick on your forehead. That'll put us up higher. We'll feel better about ourselves. And, we won't be so lazy all the time. We'll be more like a rangefinder. And sitting up high like that, we'll get some fresh air. Balls and dick on your forehead. Every time you nod, we'll get action. Every time you shake your head, we'll get action. Hats will be a problem, but we can figure that out. That's a minor. Thank you. I was trying to sound like a lazy balls and dick. Thank you that I was able to capture their spirit through my voice. It's hard to see my nipples because of all the hair. I have gray hairs around my nipples, Apocalypse. It's the only part of my body that I have gray hair on. Testing 1, 2, 3, people. What is going on? All right, so we had audio cut out again. I don't know how much we lost. In the chat room, can you guys tell me how much we lost? How long was it silent? That fucking pisses me off. Everything's been working fine lately. Yeah, tell me how much we lost, and I'll have to know how much to trim. If it does it again, I will cancel the show and just do another one later, because I don't like to put you guys through that. Sorry, I haven't had technical problems of this nature for a long time. I don't know what's going on. Everything's operating normally, but it's, it's just cutting out. Look at the timestamps in our messages. Okay, good idea, Barco. Let's see. Well, that assumes that you responded 12 minutes. Jesus Christ. I've been talking to myself for 12 minutes? Shit. All right, well, to go ahead and give you I'm just going to say in one sentence literally what I covered. It was the 13 types of internet trolls. Okay, so I posted that on the Facebook announcement for this show. You can read them yourself. I recommend you read them. You'll run into these people, and then you'll have an idea not only of who they are, but how to stop them. Now, the next one is the New Yorker's article on the psychology of online comments. I'm going to share that with you right now on the Facebook page under the announcement for this show. I don't know about the New Yorker. I mean, I respect them as a source, but they seem a bit uppity, a bit too, I don't know, like they wouldn't dare cover anything ghetto-ish. You know what I mean? So you got to get your hands dirty with news if you're willing to talk about all of it. So once you show me that persnickety attitude, I believe that's the word I'm looking for, I may not trust I may not bother with your... I may trust your source, but I may not bother with it since its scope has become too narrow. A good news source will cover anything that's news and everything that's news. Yeah, I said persnickety, bitches. That's 4 syllables. Write that down because I did say it. I said persnickety. When was the last time you heard that word? That's right. So here we are, the New Yorker, saying the psychology of online comments. Well, I'm not going to go totally deep into this, but I am going to read something about a result of a poll. Anonymity, they say, for one thing. According to a September Pew poll, 1/4 of internet users have posted comments anonymously. As the age of a user decreases, okay, that doesn't sound right, but what they're saying is as we go down in age, his reluctance to link a real name with an online remark increases. 40% of people in the 18 to 29-year-old demographic have posted anonymously. One of the most common critiques of online comment sites, a disconnect, cites is C-I-T-E-S, cites a disconnect between the commenter's identity and what he is saying, a phenomenon that the psychologist John Suler memorably termed the online disinhibition effect. Online disinhibition effect. The theory is that the moment you shed your identity, the usual constraints on your behavior go too. Or, to re-articulate the 1993 Peter Steiner cartoon on the internet, nobody knows you're not a dog. When Arthur Santana, a communications professor at the University of Houston, analyzed 900 randomly chosen user comments on articles about immigration, half from newspapers that allowed anonymous postings, such as the Los Angeles Times and the Houston Chronicle, and half from ones that didn't, including USA Today and Wall Street Journal. He discovered that anonymity made a perceptible difference. A full 53% of anonymous commenters were uncivil, as opposed to 29% of registered non-anonymous commenters. Anonymity, Santana concluded, encouraged incivility. In other words, everybody's got balls if you can't know who they are. The real man has balls online and offline. If you're not going to have balls offline, I'm not hating on you, but don't pretend you're somebody else online. That's not respectable to me. Not at all. If you're going to have balls online, have them offline. Anonymous forums, here, just one more part of this I wanted to read to you. I've already shared the link on the Facebook page. Anonymous forums can also be remarkably self-regulating. We tend to discount anonymous and pseudonymous is the correct way to say that. We tend to discount anonymous and pseudonymous comments to a much larger degree than commentary from other more easily identifiable sources. And In a 2012 study of anonymity and computer interactions, researchers found that while anonymous comments were more likely to be contrarian and extreme than non-anonymous ones, they were also far less likely to change a subject's opinion on an ethical issue, echoing earlier results from the University of Arizona. In fact, as the Stanford computer scientist Michael Bernstein found when he analyzed the B-board of 4chan, an online discussion forum that has been referred to as the internet's rude, raunchy underbelly, and where over 90% of posts are wholly anonymous, mechanisms spontaneously emerged to monitor user interaction and established a commenter's status as more or less influential and credible. So he's saying basically there's a self-policing going on here, from pure haters to people who are actually using a little bit of brains in their comments. And that's something important for you to distinguish. When you get people online that are trolls, they're not typically adding to the discussion. So do you like a fight that much? You just want to see them attack somebody? You just want to see somebody hurt? Or do you need to gain something intellectually? Let me encourage you to do this. If my show ever becomes a show that you are no longer gaining something from, I encourage you to leave and go find another show. Just go listen to Apocalypse or Guy Shea or Barco or Chris Crash Jesus or News Guy or Debbie Daly or Goofy Bone. If you're at this show, I want you to be here because you're finding something you want in it. That's important to me. Otherwise, you're going to turn into a source of criticism for me. You're going to find things you don't like. And I'm going, why are you here? If you just want to criticize me, I understand criticism, and I usually take a lesson from it. But why are you here? Why are you here just to criticize? Owing to the conflicting effects of anonymity, they continue with, and in response to the changing nature of online publishing itself, internet researchers have begun shifting their focus away from anonymity and toward other aspects of the online environment, such as tone and content. University of Wisconsin-Madison study that Popular Science cited, for instance, was focused on whether comments themselves, anonymous or otherwise, made people less civil. The authors found that the nastier the comments, the more polarized readers became about the contents of the article, a phenomenon they dubbed the nasty effect. But the nasty effect isn't new or unique to the internet. Psychologists have long worried about the difference between face-to-face communication and more removed ways of talking, the letter, the telegraph, the phone. With the traditional trappings of personal communication like nonverbal cues, context, and tone, comments can become overly impersonal and cold. And they can. I'm not going to read the rest to you. I did share it. I think it's a fine article to tell you where we are as humans with the online commentary, and really the others they mentioned as well, the texting, what do they call it? The one that deletes after 7 seconds. Not Instagram, but I think it's another one. This is where we are with our online assholes, and we need to know where we are with them. I have up here the 10 greatest philosophers in history. I may just share their names with you, and I wanted to show you how anything you get from Listverse is nothing but one person's opinion, because it's a ridiculous list. Didn't even include Socrates or Kant. Get the fuck out of here. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. I also have a paper that I'm going to share with you that applies directly to the topics that we've been talking about today, and it is called, this will apply to everything in your life socially, including politics and the internet troll bit. It was written by CBS News, and it is called, if I can ever find it again here, it's called The Politics of Fear. Read that whole thing. You'll be smarter for it. I'm printing this one out so that I can use it for bathroom reading. That's a good article, I can tell. Now, the Huffington Post has a article up. Remember, if you hate the Huffington Post because you think they're too liberal or something, you can ignore that emotion because this wasn't written by them. They go out a lot of times and find experts that have written stories and just share the story. So you don't have to give them credit for this, okay, if you hate them. But you should give credit to the experts that wrote it. Huffington Post, and I'm going to share this one as well. 7 reasons why people act differently online. Needs to be talked about. I got to go check and make sure my show is still broadcasting. Yes, Sucrates. Snapchat. That's the one I was thinking about. Thank you, Barco. BSing at a bar. I'll find the article that backs it up. Trolling verbal sparring is a good mental exercise. I think debating is a good mental exercise. That is verbal sparring. Please spell the word you stumbled over. Sued. I think you're talking about pseudonymity. I don't know what word you're talking about. No sound again. Okay, apparently we're losing sound again, guys. So something is wrong. I'm going to reboot my computer and get this straight. I will do another show tonight. We will consider it the second half of this show. And I'm going to download this episode and fix the sound parts in it. We will do the second half of this show at 9 p.m. tonight Eastern Time. That's 3 hours from now. And I'm sorry, because it keeps fucking up. So I'm sorry about that. I wish we could have gotten more into it, but we will. And this will give me a few hours to reflect and pull up some more sources for you. So this first part was mostly about internet trollage and the types of people who don't have balls in the real world, but they suddenly find out that they're Superman when they're anonymous. All of that stuff. So for those that may have joined late, I'm going to play a quick commercial for you, and that's going to be the end of this show. Again, the topic will continue. We'll talk a little bit more about racism and anonymity in the second half of the show, but that show will not come on until 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all for coming to the chat room, Apocalypse, Valerie, Barco, and everybody else. And I hope you join us again at 9 p.m. on this same channel. That is that, and here goes this.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Ladies and gents, this is Kevin Kierstead, host of Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap. I hope you're enjoying the show. Truth on Tap is focused on bringing you absolute truth about everything from mainstream media to comedy, from psychology to the paranormal. This show keeps it real, not the fake kind of real, the real kind of real. That same spirit also covers our Caps on Tap show about the Washington Capitals. Caps on Tap shows air only after Capitals wins at this time. Please come like our Facebook page and join the conversation at facebook.com/Truth on Tap show. Truth on Tap has been picked up and promoted by iHeartRadio, the internet audio mega monster, so shows are available there as well as on Spreaker and a limited selection on iTunes. To get in on a show's chat, you can chat from the Facebook page I mentioned or go to www.spreaker.com/user/truth-on-tap and look for the live episode or call in at 910-NO-LYING. That's 910-665-9464. Thanks again for checking out Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap.